I wasn't scared last time. Were you scared? It didn't faze me at all when the party found that river and tried to get across.
Okay. Dr. Greenbank, again, on the third stone, slips for a second, and Ronnie, you reach out with that branch, and Dr. Greenbank, when you grab a hold of it, Ronnie just yanks, and you're sort of like launched onto the other side of the river, and you are safely across.
Oh, you been drinking some milk? I'm glad I didn't rip your arms right out of the sockets there.
Or when Elliot nearly froze to death?
Your legs are not working at this moment. Like, you try and get up, and your legs just are not moving.
Or when they found that eerie cabin in the woods?
My countenance falls as I take this in bit by bit, and I take steps backwards away from the door towards the group.
It's very warm in there, though, Ronnie. Warm in there, though, Ronnie. Warm in there, though, Ronnie. Warm in there, though, Ronnie.
I feel funny about this.
Or when Ronnie went into the cellar?
You see that there are 3 bodies, but all of them are vivisected in a way that makes them look as though they were a chrysalis.
What's going on?
Yeah, what is it?
I'm going to be scrambling to get up the ladder.
You see Ronnie is like clawing to get his way up, like he hits himself a couple of times, and like you can hear him grunting as he appears up above the hatch.
Or when Dart fell asleep and encountered Elliot in his dream.
All right, and Dart, you go to sleep, and when you start to dream, everything is very vivid at first, and you find yourself in a cottage. It seems like it's very quaint, and the door opens up, and your father walks in, and he goes over, and he fiddles with a couple of things over at the counter, and then as you're sort of scanning the entirety of the room, you see at the table, Elliot is there.
Nope, I wasn't frightened one bit. So, as long as we understand that none of us were bothered, one way or another, well, let's see what happens next. In the Devil's Antlers.
You notice the rustic old cabin. You notice your father in his flannel. He's bustling through like the kitchen area, but it's all one room, so it's not like any of it's delineated with walls or anything like that. But the oddest part about this entire situation is, first of all, you don't dream about this a ton. This is a weird thing for you to dream about. Second of all, why is Elliot sitting at the table? And Elliot, you would also probably more familiarly at this point, like obviously not with this place, but with the experience when you see a fully grown Dart in front of you, but he's dressed in different clothes than he was when you last saw him. He's got on, this flannel button-up shirt and these overalls that go over that, and he's kind of dressed like a kid, but still is an adult.
Oh, it's you.
Dart gives him a long look and then, pats the packets of his flannel to try and find a packet of cigarettes and realizes there's none in them and just kind of...
Oh, no, when you think about cigarettes, they will appear in the breast pocket.
Okay. So he, like, pats the left pocket, pats the right pocket, pats the left pocket again and finds them and... Okay. Pulls one out, walks up to Elliot and says, well, this is weird. Didn't expect to see you in my dreams. Not that I'd prefer Ronnie or nothing, but...
Likewise, this does appear to be the same phenomenon that I was sharing with Dr. Greenbank.
That's right, you did mention something about sharing dreams with her, didn't you?
Do you have any plates here?
Yeah, we should have a plate or something. I'll go into one of the cupboards.
Your mustachioed father brings over a plate and sets it on the table in front of Elliot.
Thank you, sir. And then I throw it on the ground. And I would like to see how it shatters.
Just like at Dr. Greenbank's, you would see that it breaks in a very uniform pattern.
Alright, so nothing seems to have changed other than the location.
Okay.
So, to continue off of where me and Dorothy left off, I believe through the exits, there will be, they will enter into a long hallway with many doors that go on for seemingly forever.
Okay. I mean, we can try them. You mentioned that you were in Dr. Greenbank's dream earlier, but you think it's a bit weird that, like, none of us seem to be going into your dreams or nothing?
I suppose that could be viewed as weird. We really haven't been exposed to much of this to really get much of a baseline.
Okay. Just making sure that this wasn't like something that you just did. You know, go into other people's dreams or something.
I assure you it's fairly new to me.
Okay. I'm assuming you don't need any help down in the cabin. Looks like you're all set up.
Well, I can take this door over here. Would you mind going to the other?
Bye, I can do that.
So it would be the same as before. When you open it up, you would see this long white hallway with a bunch of doors on either side of it. And Dart, you would see that you're at the end of this hallway, like your doorway is capping the hallway. And you would see then that Elliot kind of waves an arm out and sticks his head out maybe 100 yards in front of you.
Oh, that's weird. This what you normally were seeing?
Yes, we were categorizing these. I went through that door right there, and I point to it. This led into seemingly a version of Dr. Greenbank's wedding. And that's not even the most interesting part of it. From there, we crawled through a window, and we met the Metatron.
Okay, so I mean, you're saying that door there led to Dr. Greenbank's, but I don't see how we could get into, her wedding from my dream. You know what I'm saying? Maybe.
There's only one way to find out. And I kind of smirk a little bit.
Oh, I suppose. I was gonna say, we could each start walking down this hallway from either end, and when we meet, we pick that door.
I suppose we could do that too.
That seems like it'd be I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know nothing about this, but I think that would be the furthest from, my dream. Assuming that this cabin's my dream.
Let's do it then. And I start slowly walking down the hallway to meet him in the middle.
Okay. And I walk out the other door, attempting to do the same.
Okay. So both of the doors close behind you as you walk down this hallway, and you eventually meet. And you can go left or right, either one of your left or rights, because there's a door on either side of the hallway. Right next to either one of you.
I kind of gesture my hands to defer to him to pick.
I mean, in the past, if you opened the door, could you see into it, or did it kind of like pull you in? Because we could both open one on either side and take a little peek-sees.
Yeah, you could see and walk through willingly. You could even come back.
Okay. Why don't we open both of them then? And see which one looks more opportune.
So, Dart, when you open up yours, the first thing that you would notice is it's the auditorium in Escanaba where you had your first concert.
Good, that's weird.
And, Elliot, when you open up your door, it's a fairly simple house, 2 stories. You see that there is a woman and a man who looks kind of similar to the one that you saw in that cabin as well. And you would guess that this might be Dart's childhood home?
So, what do you think?
I mean, I remember my first concert well enough. I don't remember nothing too special about it, save for nearly pissing myself out of nerves. I mean, hell, that was even before I got my current band. I think yours might lead to something more, I don't know, primal or something, I guess.
Just to let you know, when we entered into Dr. Greenbank's memory, she reverted back to her younger self. Just so you aren't alarmed.
Well, then, I guess don't be too surprised if you're standing next to a kid, you know?
If you remember, he wasn't a kid. He was just dressed as one when he was in the cabin. And, Dart, that's definitely a childhood memory. You know, you were 9.
Hey, I still think yours is probably the way to go.
Alright, lead the way.
So, Dart, as soon as you step inside, a very familiar smell hits your nose, and you recognize it to be pancakes. And you remember your mom always used to make pancakes. She would get real maple syrup. She would go through all of the trouble to mince up a chocolate bar for your pancake specifically. And she would give it ears as well. You know, it wouldn't just be a large central pancake, but it would have, you know, just like on the TV with Mickey. You kind of approach the table and your dad is there and he's sipping on coffee and he's flipping through the Norway newspaper, and you just feel nice and safe.
Does the table appear to be, from my point of view, does it look like I am...
You're an adult height.
Adult height, okay, perfect. Then I put the cigarette out on, like, my, my sleeve, push it into one of my pockets, and kind of sit down and relax a little bit.
Morning there, sport.
Well, what's in the news there, Pop? Anything exciting?
Oh, you know, just the same old, same old.
Yeah. That's fair, I guess. I want to look out the window and see if I can... Is it winter time? Is it...
So when you look out the window, there is nothing to see. That's very odd. It's like almost this infinite blackness when you go and press your face to the window. And your dad says, "Gonna be a cold one today, eh?"
It's the void out there. But climbing out into it, it led us to that room with the Metatron.
And I kind of look between my dad and Elliot and see if my dad's, like, acknowledging that Elliot's in the room at all.
He is not in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, looking like a real cold one out there. Might head out a bit early, see if I might make a snowman or something.
Oh no, D'Artagnan, please sit down, and your mom will usher you back into your seat, and she will place your Mickey Mouse pancake with the chocolate bar cut up inside of it, and it's drizzled with maple syrup in front of you.
Thanks.
And she'll also place a pancake in front of you, Elliot.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Ma.
She'll kiss you on your cheek.
I've never had anyone take such great care in plating a pancake before. I'm very impressed, thank you.
Oh, it was no trouble at all.
I lean over to Elliot and mumble towards him. Not entirely certain. I mean, you think maybe we could go out just the front door to get to it? Or you think we gotta go through a window or something?
Possibly. I'm willing to experiment. There's almost nothing that we know about this phenomenon in general. Everything we do that hasn't been done before is groundbreaking.
Okay. Mom, my pal and I are gonna scarf down breakfast and go out. We're gonna go make a fort, okay? Don't worry, we'll be back before dark, though. And I'm gonna start humping down my pancakes.
Okay, so as you finish your pancake, and your mom says, "Oh, now you two be careful now."
Oh yeah, we're not gonna go too far. I don't think. Just a few blocks into the tree line, okay?
She'll nod.
Great.
Elliot cuts his pieces into perfect squares and eats them one at a time.
Dart's finished and is like tapping his foot and starts like stealing pieces off of Elliot's plate and goes, "Let's go, come on."
Yes, you're right. We should get going.
When you get up, your mom turns around and she crosses her arms and she goes, and like motions towards the plates and then towards the sink.
Oh, sorry about that. We're just real anxious to get there before it gets too windy and the snow dries out or something. I'll like start rinsing them off and be like, "Would you mind finishing washing them there, Mom?"
She will like tap her cheek with her finger and lean out towards you.
I give her a peck on the cheek and hug her and say, "Thanks, you're the best. Okay, see you soon."
And she'll smile and wave as you guys leave. So you're back out in the hallway, correct?
I thought we were going out the door to try to go outside.
Any door that you take will take you back into the hallway.
Fuck, okay.
Well, care to explore more, or should we try a window? Are you prepared to meet the Metatron, by the way? It's the voice of God, or so I'm told.
I've heard a lot of people call it the voice of God. Come on, I'm curious about this one. So I'll lead him back into the house and upstairs to my room and just dive out the window.
When you crawl out the window, when you dive out, like trying to reach some sort of bottom at the second floor, you almost immediately hit some ground, maybe 3 feet below where you just hit, and you can see that there are a few couches, and you're just in this large black void, and there are a few lights as well that just dimly illuminate it with sort of this red ambiance, and you can see that there is this gentleman sitting on the couch.
Just the one?
Elliot, did you jump in as well?
Yeah, I didn't like jump out, but I climbed through halfway, kind of expecting what to come out on the other side.
Yeah, this looks just like the Metatron. You notice that he is missing his right hand. He's dressed mostly in black, very dapper bolero, mustache, and he says,
"Well, howdy, I did not expect you back so quickly."
Well, It's not every day you get to meet the voice of God, and especially one so welcoming.
Did you find my present? I left it in the basement.
Oh, the ward.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Or should I be thanking you or thanking him? And I kind of vaguely point up with a confused face.
I am but an instrument of Jesus Christ.
Well, thanks all around just the same.
It is right to give him thanks and praise.
This is my companion of the last few days. I believe you probably know his name already. Dart, this is the Metatron.
Good to meet you, Mr. Tron.
Let's just keep it real nice and simple, and you can just call me Voice.
The voice. Yeah, okay.
Well, do you know what happened to Moses when he saw the voice? There's a reason that God wanted for humans to be able to hear and obey. Do you understand?
I mean, he started glowing and threw some rocks on the ground, right?
I don't think I like this one as much as the last one, Elliot.
I apologize. I believe he was referring to the commandments.
I know what he was referring to.
Yes, of course.
That's what happened when Moses...
I understand. That's an oversimplification, and you are taking a miracle and trying to... I'm upset, and I apologize. Hey, I am part human, and to be human is to err.
I wasn't trying to upset you none. I just... You know, my dad wanted me to study, right good the Bible, and I sort of burned my language, but half-assed it a bit, but I guess I'm sort of asking what you mean by all that, you know?
You will need to specify exactly what you are talking about.
Well, you said, you know what happened when Moses met the voice, and I'm assuming you mean you.
Well, I don't know if Elliot explained, but I am part human. The last time when Moses spoke to the voice of God, he aged. He aged an incredible amount, and I have no power to grant a boon upon you. But you can look upon me and speak to me without suffering the consequences, as it were.
My teachings must have glossed over that part, or I missed that part. I wasn't trying to anger you none or nothing, you know. Sorry if I did. Just trying to get a grasp on everything.
Is the protection of the aging phenomenon, is that a circumstance of the surroundings here? Being in the dreamscape? Dream world? Whatever it may be?
No, we could meet in person if you would so desire. I just find that oftentimes approaching people that have never met you and announcing their name, to quote your generation, it gives them the heebie-jeebies.
Yes, I could see that.
Would you like to meet in person?
Might not be a bad idea there, Elliot.
I hope you take no offense, because I find you incredibly comforting, but now that you mention it, the thought does somewhat frighten me.
You don't need to answer now.
Thank you for that.
It's a mite intimidating, you know, meeting the voice of God in person, but...
Here's what I'm gonna do, okay? When you leave that cabin, you will go north. When you find a cave, your wife and your son will be in there. But I warn you, your wife will not be happy to see you.
one thing even I could have foretold. And I can't quite say that I blame her.
I don't think you understand, because this has nothing to do with you and her. It's about your son.
Are they gonna be okay, though? When we meet up with them?
You can hurry, but you need to leave now.
And you both wake up as soon as he says that.
Dart? Did that all just happen?
I turn to him. Yeah, that happened. I turn to look to see if the other two are still awake. Hey, Dorothy.
Yes? Are you two okay?
We spoke to him again. The voice.
We gotta go now.
Metatron.
The Metatron?
Yes.
What? Did he give you directions or anything?
We go north. He said if we're quick, they're still alive.
I don't know what's happening right now.
I go over and I kind of like slap Ronnie.
I just...
Lightly, but on the
Ronnie,
face
I
directly.
was
Just,
saying.
we're going north. Come on. I pull a handful of cigarettes out of my pocket and start shoving them into Ronnie's hand. Say, come on, we're going. We don't have a whole lot of time.
God, it doesn't feel much warmer now than it did last night.
How am I doing physically?
Terrible.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's no other way to describe it. Like, you were on the verge of hypothermia. You slept for about 4 hours. You've warmed up a little bit, and you're about to venture back out into the cold. Terrible is the answer.
He slept for both shifts.
Okay, so I think you are bad. I think that it's one of those situations where you show up to work and all of your coworkers are like, oh man, you look like shit. Kind of a situation. You know what I mean? Like...
Dart's gonna grab... Is there like a blanket or a sheet or anything?
There's a little bit of bedding, yeah, that you can grab.
Cool. He's gonna throw his jacket over Elliot as he starts to warm up and just like start wrapping himself in bedding and like plunging out into the snow.
Okay.
Yes, please do wrap yourself in evidence from the murder shed.
I mean...
Hey man, it is what it is at this point.
No one's found it yet.
Let's do this or freeze to death.
Well, and you guys watched the only law enforcement get murdered, so I think you're probably okay for a little while at least.
Yeah.
The chief didn't die yet, that we know of.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So there is no Marinette Police Department at this time. There is the Sheriff's Department for Marinette County, and the sheriff and his deputy are both dead. So, yeah.
The sheriff's not confirmed dead for us, Tim. Thank you very much. He's dragged into the woods by some monster.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I apologize. I will not confirm that he's dead yet, but maybe he's fucking dead.
It's a good chance he's fucking dead. We're going. We're fucking out.
Okay, so you start sprinting forward, and immediately, Elliot, your legs are like, oh no. Again? Like, your body, everything in your body does not want to continue, but your mind keeps trying to push you forward, and... Would anybody like to help Elliot go northward?
Dorothy is.
Okay. So I think that, Dorothy, you've had plenty of time to warm up. You didn't have any, like, severe effects from being out in the cold or anything like that. And so you and Elliot are able to make your way together. He falters a few times, but for the most part, everything is going relatively well. And after about 2.5 hours, you find yourself near a cave.
Well, I think this has to be it.
The sun is up at this point. It's starting to warm you a little bit. Like, the wind is still howling. It's starting to become a little bit more temperate. It's above 0 at this point, so there's that.
It ain't gonna get too much warmer than that. I think we got a cave?
Yes. Immediately.
Yep. Dart's gonna lead into the cave. Rifle in hand, if no one else wants it.
Okay. So, the cave is low. You have to duck down, every single one of you. You kind of have to get into sort of that weird crawl that they do in, like, or not crawl, but that, like, crouch position that every single video game character can walk in, but is physically impossible for any human being to do at any reasonable speed. And so, like, you have to kind of, use your hand to brace yourself every once in a while as the ceiling gets a little bit lower. And I think that every once in a while as well, you scrape your backs along the ceiling as well. And eventually the cave turns and sort of opens up, and you can see that there is one central fire that is getting down towards embers. And all of you can see that there is a bunch of body parts, but among them are these two figures. And Elliot, when you get within about 30 feet, you realize that this is Nora and Hamlet, and they are tied together almost. And it looks as though like these body parts are there as like a food source, the way that they're piled up.
Are we still forced in this weird crouch, or is this like an open clearing?
It'll open up into a place that you can stand when you get to where Nora and Hamlet are. It's about 30 feet in diameter. So they're like at the back of the cave while you guys are getting into this sort of antechamber, I guess.
It's them. Yeah, I run up to them and Eleanor, Hamlet, I'm here.
Hamlet's eyes immediately get super excited, and he immediately starts shouting at his mom, I told you! I told you! And she looks at him and looks at you, and her eyes are just completely panicked as you're working to get these bindings off of her. And as soon as you free her, she kind of pushes herself away from you, and Hamlet grabs onto your torso and just brings you into this incredibly tight hug for someone so small.
Yeah, I instinctually, hug back, and then after a moment, I kind of push him away from me and like get him into the light to where I can see his face, like basically at this age for the first time. And I'll like kneel down towards him.
He reminds you a lot of the few pictures that you have of your childhood.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
How about you, Eleanor?
I told her you were gonna come. I told her. Dad, I told her.
Yes. Very good. It's a good survival instinct to keep good thoughts. And then I'll kind of embrace him again and then like kind of look over his shoulder towards Nora.
She appears to be in tears right now.
Okay, but why don't you just stay warm by the fire here. Actually, I'm with a doctor. She can look you over, make sure you're okay.
Sure.
And I'm gonna walk over to Nora.
You son of a bitch!
Sorry.
Do you know how many times he told me you were going to come through in a situation and I knew you weren't going to do it because you're a son of a bitch, and this time, the worst time, you do it! What am I gonna tell him when you don't? You son of a bitch!
Nora, there's no explanation. I'm sorry. I wrote letters. I came back, but I was also ashamed.
You stay away from me. When we get out of here, you stay away from me.
Well, I'm sure this is just the situation. Things will be more clear later, after we get out of this.
She blinks a few times and she looks at you, and she looks around the room and sees Dr. Greenbank and meets eyes with her for a second, and then she just immediately walks towards the exit of this cave and does not say another word to you. And as she's passing you, Dr. Greenbank, she will grab onto Hamlet's hand and they will continue out the exit.
Dorothy, while this has been happening, has been like how she had like their coats and stuff with them. She was like bundling him up and like looking him over as she did so.
Dr. Greenbank, you took that look to be more like, oh, he's accusing me to be hysterical. I bet you've heard this one before.
She'll follow her out.
And she'll get out into the cold and she'll immediately start huddling over Hamlet, and she'll look up at you and she'll say, "It's not fair. He can't just show up like this.
I know, hon.
And I'm the one who's in a situation. That's what's going on. It's not what he's been doing for a decade. No, it's me. It's a situation. It's always a situation, isn't it?"
It always is. Come here, I brought you something more.
Have you seen them? Have you seen the things? They're not human.
Yes, I have. I study them.
I think they wanted us to become one of them.
It did. And you... And Dorothy is going to take her shoulders and say, "You kept you and your son safe. And now we're going to help you stay safe, okay? This situation wasn't yours."
We should go.
We should.
While they were talking out there, Elliot would have been inside, like, looking over the scene and, like, seeing if there's anything that they should, like, keep track of or take or,
There's a bunch of tracks. You would notice, like I said, there are plenty of body parts. I think that if you were to do a keen enough investigation, you would notice that, like, on one of the torsos is the sheriff's badge. Like, you don't find his head or any other part of his body. There's just a bloody torso there with the star and the Marinette County Sheriff's Department on it.
when I find it, I do sort of hold up the badge towards Dart and Ronnie. Sheriff.
Dart's been keeping his eye on the I don't know how you'd say it, the exit to the room, the throughway, the other way out of this room that we came in.
Yeah, for sure. You don't see anything come out, and by the time you hear Dr. Greenbank yell for you, you're ready to go. This room thoroughly creeps you out, for sure.
For sure. And when I hear the sheriff, I turn and say, Oh, Christ. Well, that's the sheriff. Is there anything else with him? Any notes? Anything?
No, I don't see anything. You were looking at that other exit, weren't you?
I was just keeping an eye out, making sure nothing came towards us.
Do you think that door's back there? The one from the writings?
Could be. I don't know about that. I think it might be just I think it might just be a den and a couple, a den in a den in a den kind of thing. This is where they keep the food. That's where they might sleep. I don't know. I think foxes or something might keep like big tunnels.
Do you think we can even make it back the way we came? I'm already spent. I don't know how much more cold I can take to walk back in a child.
I'm gonna put a hand on his shoulder. We got the voice of God with us. We can do anything, right? And we know which way we're going.
You're right. Be me for thinking that way.
Exactly. You got all of us, you got Nora, you got Hamlet. They're safe now with us. We just gotta get the hell out of here.
My newfound savior, give me strength.
I clap him on the back and start ushering him and Ronnie out. Dirk definitely leaves one cigarette half burning at like the entrance of where it gets low when they walk out, because he's assuming someone mentioned something about them like being able to throw noises. But he's guessing that if anything breaks the smoke line, he'll at least be able to see it and start shooting.
Okay.
So he's just gonna drop that at like the mouth and start walking out, keeping an eye behind him.
Okay. Are you guys gonna head back the way that you came then?
Yeah. That's where they walked out, and I'm assuming Elliot doesn't have quite all of his faculties anymore, and there but for the grace of God go I.
Everybody, I need you to make me a Constitution roll, but Dart and Elliot, you have advantage.
Oh.
I passed on the first roll, but I'll
I
roll
got
just
a
in
natural
case I
1.
See a nat
Oh, pass. Just barely, but pass.
So, Elliot, I think that not only did you pass, but like, you feel reinvigorated. Not only has the Metatron told you exactly where your wife and child are, he told you what their reaction would be. He claims that he protected you inside of the house. You are bought in at this point, and it has allowed you to renew the vigor in your step. And you feel like a new man almost. And everybody else that passed is good to go then.
So, are we just going back the way we came? We can at least see our tracks that way.
Yep.
I think that's best. We know that we'll get out that way. Unless anyone knows a faster way back to the car.
I think it's better to stick with a path that we know, especially since it's so cold.
Yeah.
It does feel as though it's starting to warm up. I can feel the sun on my skin.
Yep.
Look at that. We might have hit double digits even.
Whew. Isn't that one heck of a note?
So I think after a while, one of you will have to carry Hamlet. He kind of immediately comes over to you, Elliot, when his legs get tired, and he's like, just kind of jumps on your back for a piggyback ride. And I think at this point, you're feeling more than fine. And after about 3 hours of travel or so, you notice that you're making much better time than you were last evening, even though all of you are a bit exhausted. It's nowhere near as treacherous as it was. And then you get to the river.
This is gonna be the hard part. I'm gonna finally break the silence with Nora. How did you get across the first time?
They jumped.
That's what we did too. So you weren't being dragged the whole way?
Most of it.
I slap Elliot on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, remember that those tracks we found where there's that big jump?
Yeah.
Yeah."
Yeah. And I look down to the ground kind of ashamedly.
I kind of like lean past him and look at Nora and just go, "Yeah? Yeah. Okay."
One other question. What did it look like?
There were 3 of them. 2 were taller than a man, but skinny. These rows of sharp teeth, just almost translucent white. Then there was the smaller one, and they had little body hair. They moved fast and quiet, with long arms and these claws, and she'll sort of like lift up her shirt just a little bit of the way so you can see the side of her torso where there is this large, like, bruised impression of what would be a handprint, but if the human was 10 feet tall, I mean, the fingers are long, and you can also see that there are these scabs that form at the end of them where you assume are these sharp nails or claws or something like that.
Oh, Lord. Elliot looks like he's about to say something more, but then he stops himself.
We should go.
We should. And we shouldn't talk about it anymore until we're out of the woods.
Okay. I'm gonna go first, and then one of you throw the gun to me. I think maybe that's the best way.
That's the way we did it last time. Listen, if you can get yourself into a berry patch, you can get yourself out of the berry patch. Or in this case, if you can get across the river, you can get back across the river. Right? We're keeping this mentality. We can do it. Isn't that right, Hamlet?
Yeah!
She'll give him a little high five.
He will absolutely oblige.
That's the spirit, champ.
I hand the gun to Dorothy then, and
God damn it.
attempt to hop my way over.
All right, go ahead and roll me dexterity.
Pass.
Okay, so you carefully make your way across these rocks. This time, the very slippery one is the second rock that you have to go over, and you just skip it and kind of hop over it to the next rock and make your way and leap over to the other side, and you land and you kind of look over at everybody and brush yourself off.
Now that second rock's looking mighty slippery, you know. Toss the gun over to me and then hop that second rock, okay?
Okay. Alright, strength check for the gun.
Yes, please.
Oh, come on, Dorothy. Pass, nat 1.
Okay, so you toss it directly to Dart. Dart, you grab it out of the air, and when you grab onto it, you look down and you notice that there's a piece of paper stuck into, it's like stuffed into the action. Like the bolt isn't fully closed, and inside of the action there's like this piece of paper sort of hanging out.
That's weird, just the devil. Okay. I pull it out.
You pull out the piece of paper, you open it up, and it just says, "I will see you in the basement."
I fold it up in my palm and put that palm on like the base of the rifle so that I'm practicing proper gun safety with one finger pointed towards the barrel. And basically, it's pinned between my hand and the gun right now.
Who's next?
Probably Dorothy. Just to make sure there's at least one person on each side when the old lady crosses.
Dexterity, please.
Pass. First try.
Okay. You make your way across. You do step on the second rock, but you do it very briefly, just long enough to place your foot on the third one, and you make your way across. Who's next?
Fail.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, do you want to roll a luck? Do you want to spend a luck, or do you want to fall in?
Pass.
There we go.
Okay. So, Elliot, as you're watching Ronnie go across, he steps on the second rock, and he slips for a moment, and you watch as he's flailing his arms about, and you see that the back of Ronnie's jacket just lifts up just slightly, and Ronnie course corrects and makes his way across the rest of the way. No one else sees that, just Elliot.
I look up into the sky and I say, thank you.
Okay, I think the other two should go across before Elliot.
Yeah, I'll go last, and there should still be this, yeah, here's that limb. This ought to help you get across. And I kind of reach it out towards Nora.
And I'm gonna reach out the butt of the gun towards her as well, and kind of like brace my foot on the closest rock, as long as it's not much of a stretch.
She's going to have Hamlet grab onto the top of this branch, and he's gonna go out, and she's gonna kind of hold on to one of his hands leaning out there, and she'll let go briefly as he steps on one rock and then grabs onto the butt of the gun, and you just yank him immediately over to the other side.
Yep, come on. Oh, God. Oh. You're heavier than you look, kid. I kind of clap him jokingly on the shoulder. Just like a light punch. Not enough that it would hurt anyone.
Okay. And then Nora, she sees that, and she just breathes this sigh of relief, and she then grabs onto the branch, and she starts making her way out there, and she passes the second rock and gets onto the third one, and then she lets go and gets ready to step onto the fourth one, and as she's reaching out towards the butt of this gun, her one foot just sweeps out from under her, and she splashes into the water. And you see that she's immediately started to be carried down. And you see that she's like flailing and doing everything that she can. She bashes up against a couple of rocks as she's just being carried just down this stream. What would any of you like to do?
I'm gonna go in after her.
Okay. You immediately dive in after her. Go ahead and roll me a strength check.
Alright, that's a 5, and my strength is 13, so that's pass.
Okay, so you're actually able to swim with this, and you're able to maneuver your way around these rocks, and there's a few of them that you scrape up against, and it hurts for a second, but you don't even care. You're just continuing to do the forearm crawl, and eventually you grab onto Nora and give me another strength check, please.
I'd like to be like running along as fast as I can, slow as it may be.
Okay.
And just kind of like waving the gun, trying to, especially if I see Elliot like meet her, I'm gonna be like trying to run past them and stick the gun out.
Okay, Elliot, I will give you advantage then on this strength roll.
Alright, I did already pass with a 12 out of 13.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the best one that I got. So.
Okay, so you
Barely.
grab onto the butt of this gun. Give me a strength roll then, please start.
Come on, man. No, I failed.
Okay.
I think burning a luck would not benefit me. My strength is so fucking bad.
Dude, come on!
I'll burn 1 luck point to try and pass this.
Okay.
But again, my strength is a 4. And
Come on, Dart! You can do this!
It's still a fail. It's an 8.
Fuck!
It's still
Okay. So, Dart, you yank on the butt on this rifle, and you try and get Elliot on, and Elliot, you're trying desperately to hang on to this wooden rifle, but it's so slick, and Dart does not pull you out fast enough, and you guys continue to careen down this river. What are any of you doing?
I think Dart loses his grip on the gun, and it kind of like falls on the bank.
Oh yeah, the river immediately sweeps it away then if it falls onto the bank. Like it.
Oh, in the river?
You have a pretty decent incline, and so if it falls, it's rolling and it's going into the river and sweeping along with everybody else.
No, that's fair.
And guess who has the other gun?
Huzzah!
I'm gonna just yell out to Ronnie. Well, I mean, yell out in general. Just like, as soon as like the rifle like leaves his grip, Dart yells out, "Ronnie, I need your strength. Come on, man. Yeah, I can't pull them both in." And I'm gonna be like running, like down the bank, trying to keep ahead of them so I can at least keep an eye on them.
Dart, you notice that maybe 500 yards in front of you is the waterfall, and if they get to there, it's not going to be survivable.
Fuck, Ronnie, come on!
Dorothy is holding Hamlet against her and just praying out loud. She knows she's not going to be strong enough.
How does assist work?
You can give advantage, or you can get advantage if Dart is assisting you, depending upon, who's better at it. And I'm assuming that you're better at strength stuff.
Not great. I'm an 8.
Better than a 4.
I'm a 4, dude. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to get eyes on them at all times. And if you can get a hand on them, I am, like, throwing myself on top of you so you also don't get swept in.
I'm gonna spend my luck point.
Okay.
It only took me 4 tries.
Yay!
That's a pass.
God.
Okay, so you latch yourself onto Elliot's hand, and then you grab onto Nora's dress with the other one, and you just drag them up onto this shore. And Elliot, you have never had somebody grab you as strongly as this person did in this exact moment, and it feels as though something is working through Ronnie as this happens, and you find yourself breathing heavily, but both you, Nora, and Ronnie are soaked, but on the shore. And immediately freezing would set in, like, oh fuck, it's so cold.
We need to get warm, quick.
After you get what you want, you don't want it. If I gave you the moon, you'd grow tired of it soon. You're like a baby, you want what you want when you want it. But after you get presented with what you want, you're discontented. You're always wishing and wanting for something. But when you get what you want, you don't want what you get. And though you sit up on my knee, you'll grow tired of me. 'Cause after you get what you want, you don't want what what you want, you don't want what you wanted at all.
Don't eat it. There's no way that this isn't a parallel. There is no way that this is not another biblical parallel. Tim has been throwing way too much Christian iconography at us for this not to be another fucking parallel. Do not eat that. Please, fuck, please don't eat that pancake. No, don't eat that shit. Do not eat that. Do not eat that shit. Eric, if you eat that fucking pancake, I am gonna come through the screen and kick your ass. No! Oh my god, you fucking idiot. Why would you eat that?
Okay, so you toss it directly to Dart. Dart, you grab it out of the air, and when you grab onto it, you look down and you notice that there's a piece of paper stuck into, it's like stuffed into the action. Like the bolt isn't fully closed, and inside of the action there's like this piece of paper sort of hanging out.
Oh, okay. That's hella weird. The fuck is this? And I pull it out.
Did you just say hella in 1955?
That's weird, just a devil.
There you go.
Okay.
You pull out the piece of paper, you open it up, and it just says, "I will see you in the basement."